Hey, it's Nick with Us versus Herd. If it's your first time here and you haven't yet subscribed to our options trading live channel, I go live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before market open. Link is below in the description, along with the link to our Discord and our options group on Facebook. If you want to join the UVH fam, our amazing options trading community. But let's get into it. If you could do me a big favor, hit the like button. Today was it was kind of a crazy day. I mean, I think that we had a lot of whipsaw, a lot of things happened. We had Tesla battery day, Nike earnings, and it was just kind of one of those days where like, hey, I didn't think this was going to happen today, but it did happen today, right? And now I'm going to be going over what I think about the stock market, what I think about for tomorrow. First off, just kind of want to show my P&L for the day. I am recording this video a little bit late, so Tastyworks is not showing my realized gains. So I'm going to show you the screenshot that I posted in the Discord a little bit earlier today. So I made about $500 realized gains trading Amazon, NVDA, and SPY. However, Tesla, I mean, it got a little bit out of control. You know, it got a little out of control. I'll admit it. You know, went in a little deep, and I was like, okay, we're gonna trade Tesla, and you know, I still have that position on, which I'll kind of show you. Like, why didn't you cut losses? Why don't you? You know, sometimes as a trader, you just do some really stupid things. Just it is what it is. And all you can do, the only thing that I know for a fact is I can trade my way back to profitability. I mean, this week, I'm 100% for day trades. I'm knocking day trades out of the park. Swing trades, not looking so hot. So what does that mean? That means I need to start concentrating more on my day trades. Swing trading, just let swing trading be. Just let it chill for a little while. We still got some plays in the oven for October. We're just gonna chill, but Tesla definitely no. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a second. But right now, I want to talk about. We'll talk about Tesla in a second. Right now, I want to talk about kind of what's going on in the market. You know, why I think that, you know, right now, I'm not bearish or bullish. Right now, I'm kind of just observing. I'm kind of like, okay, what's going on here? Are we going down? Are we going up? We're going up. We're going down. You know, obviously, we broke down a little bit. People are calling doom and gloom. But what I'm looking at here is a possible retracement before we pull back to all-time highs. It's one scenario that I'm playing right now. Sure, we could, you know, looking at SPY here, sure, we can crash all the way down to 300, 310. Sure, absolutely. That is one scenario. The other scenario that I'm looking at right now is like, okay, you know, we ripped up for a few months, you know, a little bit of retracement, not so bad. If it pushes back up here, tries to push back up above the 50-day, you know, we might have a push to all-time highs. If you look back down here, we pushed up, there was a retracement period for a few weeks, and then we continue back up. So that is one scenario I'm looking at. If you're looking at the Qs, the Qs never actually got really any pullback. There was a small amount of consolidation down in here, but there wasn't really any significant pullback. Ever since we hit the lows of the pandemic, this thing has just kept going and going and going and going. And obviously that made for some really easy trades. We made a lot of money and it was great. But now things get hard where you actually have to be a real trader. You can't just like close your eyes, buy the dip, and have the stock go up. I mean, that's what a lot of people's strategy is. And that's not a strategy that's going to work right now, especially when we're in some higher volatility. You actually have to be smart. You actually know how to trade. You actually have to, you know, figure out what the next move is and kind of play out these scenarios. So for me, I'm looking at, okay, you know, it gave up this leg here, which was only, you know, 6 weeks or so, less than that. Probably like, this is only like 5 weeks worth of trading here, and it came back down. We're about 3 weeks in. Obviously, it's on the decline. We're below the 50-day moving average on the Qs. However, we have a little bit of pullback. It could definitely push back up to all-time highs, right? It could definitely do that. So that's one scenario I'm looking at. Right now, my current strategy is just taking a day at a time. Like I said, day trades are going pretty well. Trying to figure out if we're going to be red or green tomorrow, it seems near impossible. So what's the point in trying to do that, right? Just start trading what you're good at. And if you're not sure what you're good at, just kind of go in slow, paper trade, try to figure out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and scale all the way back. Like right now, I'm only trading one contract at a time. I mean, yes, I made $500 in realized profits today, but it was one contract at a time. I made $100, I made $300, I made $80. Just kind of keep stacking the gains, keep stacking the gains. Instead of trying to get like 5 contracts, 10 contracts that we're used to, when we're on a incline like this, you can definitely. I definitely was doing it. I was doing, multiple contracts, and it was relatively safe because you weren't really scared of any pullback because you would buy the pullback and we go back up, buy the pullback and we'll go back up. So, risking more on an uptrend like this when we're just riding the 10-day makes a lot of sense. So I think with Tesla, where I went wrong was, obviously this is called us versus herd. I joined the herd and I just hopped on and, this thing got obliterated. I mean, this thing is down to 395. It's not showing yet because this all happened after hours, but we're potentially going to be opening up sub 400 after we made this huge rip up to 450. It just couldn't break it. And, everyone had hope in Battery Day, and Battery Day was a bust. Battery Day was a bust. I hate to say it, but it was. But, thinking about if you're an investor of the company, forget the $2-3 grand that I'm about to lose on that. If you think about what Elon said, he says deliveries will rise 30 to 40% in 2020. In 2019, they were up 50%. He's continuing to grow the company. So as a shareholder, I think that's relatively good. If you're looking at the chart here, I'm not seeing, even if Tesla drops down to 300, it's still up a lot this year. The low of the year is $43.67, obviously after the stock split here, but low is $43. And if it dips down to 300, so what? So what? If you're a shareholder, you really don't care. But if you're an options trader, you're like, WTF, bro? Why didn't you do something during Battery Day, and why did you sabotage Battery Day before you actually got there? And then he said that during Battery Day, the Q&A, he said that Tesla doesn't make any money. He's not really a PR kind of guy. He just says what's on his mind. Whatever happens, and this is the consequences of having that type of person as a spokesperson or CEO. It is what it is. But there is some promising things coming out of Tesla. They consolidated, they bought some mines, they're going to be doing a lot of things with batteries. The interesting thing that I'm thinking is, deliveries are going to be up 30 to 40%. Also, they're going to make a $25,000 full self-driving car within 3 years. Now, if that happens, that is going to be game changing. Now, I don't think, Elon Musk kind of overpromises and underdelivers a lot of times, and doing this in 3 years seems like it's going to be tough. But if you're going to be a shareholder for the next 10, 15, 20 years, why not just pile in? Buy all you can. You know what I mean? Just buy all you can. That's essentially, I'm not an investment advisor for entertainment purposes only, but if someone tells you like, hey, my business is going to grow 40, 50% and we're not even in the mainstream, and you're about to crack the mainstream market, you want to invest in that company. So Tesla is that company. They're on the forefront of that. So that's what, it sucks to lose a couple G's on Tesla. And obviously it was my own fault at every single point in time. I was profitable on those positions at one point in time, multiple times. Didn't take the money. I'm like, I'm just going to ride it out. And then the tweet came out last night. I thought we were going to get more of a pump into Battery Day. It just didn't happen. And here we are sitting at 395 when we could have been selling. I could have sold those positions at 450. I could have sold them at 460. Didn't do it. And this is the consequences. You mess up. You mess up, you own up to it. You don't be like, oh, it's Elon's fault. Oh, it's the market's fault. No, it's my fault. It's your fault. It's everyone's fault. Like if you lose on the trade, it's most likely your fault. You had a chance to get out of that. Like I had chances to get out of Tesla multiple times, profitable, didn't do it, or even cut losses at a minimal, didn't do it. These are the consequences. You got to own up to them. The main thing is I'm confident enough that I'm able to trade myself back into the green. So it's not a big deal for me. Some people, they get all flustered and like, this is the biggest loss of my life. I can't believe I did that. It's because they don't know how to get back to the green. You got to focus on getting back to the green. I'll repeat that. You got to focus on getting back into the green. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to be like put on one amazing trade tomorrow and you're back up, 200%. Maybe you will, and I hope you do, but it is what it is. Another stock that's moving big after hours tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at this, is Nike. Just absolutely crushed it. And this is one of the safer stocks during this whole sell-off. I mean, I've been watching. I haven't been trading it, but I've been kind of like, what's going on with Nike? Somebody knows something. Last earnings, relatively flat. And then for some reason, sometime in August, it just decided to take off and it really hasn't given back that much. So I was like, what is going on? I didn't trade it because I'm like, you know what? They might under deliver and it may come back to like the 105 area. And I'm like, expected move on this was only $6.38. Implied volatility was at 70%. It just wasn't enough juice for me to sell earnings or sell premium for earnings. And I'm definitely glad I didn't, because now this is up way beyond the expected move. It's up like $16. And, digital sales were up 82%. China said its sales rose 6%. They were looking for a recovery in China. They were struggling in China for a while. Now China's recovering, which is going to add a lot of money to their bottom line, which is huge. EPS came in at 95 cents versus 47 cents revenue. They beat it. They crushed it. They crushed it. So it's nice to see that a company that crushes earnings and is doing these things is actually being rewarded. In this market, we've seen some pretty crazy things. So Nike, definitely one to watch tomorrow, seeing what the price action is going to be. Nice wide range to trade in. So whether you're going long, obviously you might want to buy the dip on this and buy the little pullback and have it push back up, but it really depends on what tomorrow is going to be. Right now, futures are a little mixed. You got NASDAQ in the red, Dow and the S&P's up a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but relatively flat after hours. And volatility is drying up, which is making, options cheaper. It's crushing premium. So if you bought something like 2 weeks ago, you're getting crushed right now. If you're a premium seller, good news. You're making some fat stacks, but it is what it is at this point. So, I think in all of this, in the latest volatility, and even if you're a good trader and if you've been trading for a long time, you're going to make mistakes. And it is what it is. No matter how good of a trader you are, you're going to make mistakes at some point in time. And, people on YouTube, you're like, oh, why are you so stupid? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And, sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you just do things because you're in the heat of the moment and you do things. And that's sometimes a trader. And that's what you want to avoid. You want to be, when you're trading, you want to be more mechanical. You don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're being emotional or just being like, putting your faith in somebody else like Elon Musk. What you want to do is focus on the price. What is the price action telling you? What was the price action telling you on Nike? What was the price action telling me on Tesla? What was it telling me? Especially on this flash crash yesterday. Somebody knew something. This thing went from 450 all the way down to 410, back up to 450. You had multiple times to get out of this, and we did not. And I think a lot of people were holding, instead of 500, it's looking like it's going to be sub 4. So, man. So, if I hope that you learn from this, I'm kind of just illustrating, kind of talking through some of the things that I'm thinking, some of the things that I'm feeling right now. And yes, I did good on my day trades, obviously getting blown away by Tesla, but we can bounce back. You can bounce back. So if you like the content, you watch to the end, hit subscribe, hit the like button if you like this video. If you watch to the end, comment below, watch to the end. And as always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.